Other speakers.
You know what it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
You know who it is, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Ode, Maurice, Ode, Maurice.
Maurice, Ode, Maurice, Ode.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy.
Hey, oh.
Yes, Mo?
Are you ready?
Let's go!
Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy, Black and Snerdy. It's the Black and Snerdy podcast with Ode and Maurice.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Oh my God.
It's okay. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, but I think it might be feedback from the speakers. Maybe I'll turn it down just a little bit.
All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black and Snerdy podcast, the only podcast where two black nerds get together and talk about whatever the fuck they want to talk about. How is that for an introduction? My name is Maurice.
My name is Odie.
Yes, and together we are the aforementioned nerds who are black.
Yes, clearly.
Yes. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Doing great. How are
Your
you?
voice is almost
I know.
gone.
Well, we've had a long weekend.
Yes, we have.
We've had a long weekend.
Jesus. Ugh, I hear it.
Maybe we should turn down the speakers.
Hello? Can y'all hear? Well, there's nobody on the thing, so
We'll see if people can hear us. But we're projecting.
yes, we are.
All right. Do you need to silence?
No, I don't. It's fine.
Okay. Now, for the top of the episode, our favorite question.
Question
With
Q&A with O&M. O&M. M and O would just be Mo.
Mo or
Oh, and by the way, I'm going by Kid Licorish now. So that's my new
That's
name.
a thing.
Yes, I'm
That's
gonna.
happening.
I think it'll stick.
I like Kid Licorice.
Kid Licorice,
Like Kid Capri.
Yes, or Kid Cudi, or Kid Fury, or Kid Marrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Lots of kids here.
Yes.
All right. Are you ready for questions? Close your eyes.
Oh my God.
Pick one. That's not the hand with the questions.
All right. First question. What have you lost that you'd like to find? My home. I know where it is, obviously, but I do not have access to my house anymore. Not my apartment, obviously, because I have it. But yeah, so long story short, my
Childhood home
is no longer in the family, and for reasons I don't need to get into, but that's neither here nor there. If I get all the money in the world, the first thing I want to do is buy my childhood house back.
You know, if I could do that, but the thing about it would be
Kicking the people who live in it out.
I would love to do that.
Giving them all the money just to say fuck off.
I feel like my childhood home, I would be wanting all the stuff that was in there. So if I could get anything back, it would be my childhood, which was all the things
Hello,
that were
Logan.
in my childhood home that were lost. Shade and I always, I don't know if you joke or make a dark joke that our home was lost in a fire. Because as you know, from your own experience,
Yes.
when you have a fire, you lose everything. You can't get anything back.
Yes.
And so the best way to reckon with the fact that our childhood home was gone and we couldn't find any of the things or get anything that was back in there. We just
Y'all said
chalk it
that.
up
Yeah,
to-
y'all chalked it up to it was lost
It
in
was just
it was a
things we
metaphorical
lost in the
fire.
fire.
Yes.
Like that Halle Berry movie from the 2000s.
Ugh, wasn't it terrible?
Honestly,
You've never seen it.
I think that I saw it, but I can't even remember it. That's how
that's how memorable the
was.
movie is.
But just like,
did you ever see her movie Bruised, where she was an MMA
did.
fighter?
Wait, did I see that one? No, you just kept talking to me about that a lot because you saw that with your dad.
Yeah, I saw it. No,
Or
not
your
just with
family.
I saw it with my family at Thanksgiving, and boy, oh boy, was it.
That's not a Thanksgiving movie.
It's not a Thanksgiving movie. There's a lot of.
There's something.
Oh my God.
There's some. Maybe your mic is too close to my mic.
Check.
I told you Mercury's gonna be trolling us.
Oh my goodness. All right. This is going to have to be how I sit and talk moving forward.
Do you want me to move my mic away a little bit?
No, because then you're not in the screen. And for some reason, Instagram doesn't let us do landscape mode.
Yeah, I know. It's silly.
So we have to just be squished in this little rectangle. This will be a lot better when we get the camera.
Yes.
I don't know if we'll be able to do Instagram lives or if we'll have
figure
to do
it out.
Yeah, I guess. Yes.
But that was
The answer to
we would both pick our
the
homes.
question when you don't have an answer. We'll figure it out.
We'll both pick our homes for various reasons.
Yes.
Okay. So,
What's your question?
what's your best home remedy?
Home remedy when I'm not feeling well. My family used to make onion soup. Yeah, not onion soup. Onion tea, I should say.
Onion tea.
Yes.
Was it savory?
Onion and honey together, boil it, make a tea. Oof, that just reminded me of one time when I used to live at my family in Queens' house for a brief period of time, and I'm kind of absent-mindedness in the morning sometimes, so I would be boiling eggs, and that would be like my breakfast of choice. It's just to boil eggs for breakfast, and then I'd eat them on the go. My dumbass left the eggs on the stove, and I didn't realize it until I was on the bus, on the train, like an hour after I had already started. I was like, oh shit, I almost burned down the house. Speaking of burning down houses.
At least, did someone figure it out?
Yeah, I texted and was like, hey, can y'all turn off the stove?
Yeah, that's like one thing where sometimes it's when you're cooking something, I'm just like, damn, did I turn off? Even earlier today, I was smelling something and I was like, did I turn off the stove? And you never want to have, hello, Peaches. You never want to have things just on the stove.
Peaches! Oh, did you see the Jack Black song, Peaches?
It's new?
Yeah.
No, I didn't. It's fine. Sing it later.
I will. Probably. If I remember it. I might choose a different song.
All right. So, we've answered your questions, and now it's time to go into the pop culture segment.
Oops, sorry.
We really gotta just cut that off.
Yeah, maybe one day I will.
All right, so
I'm hungry. Did you ever watch that King of the Hill episode where Bill is like in the car and he's just like, I'm hungry, and Kank is like, we'll get something later, and then he's just like, I'm horny.
Oh man, two things can be. I came up with the term "horngry" in college.
Where you're hungry for that.
No, it's when you're hungry and horny at the same time.
Sup, Richard? Is that?
I think it's about.
Okay. Yeah.
If them are Peaches, because Peaches and Richard both have too many numbers behind their name. That always makes me feel like it's a bot. But no, horngry was when you are hungry and you're horny at the same time. And, it's like, which do you satiate first? You should be...
Peen!
I mean, the peen obviously, but sometimes when two people are hungry, they're just dehydrated and stuff. They can't necessarily complete the act because it's just like your body needs nutrients to burn all that energy.
Mm-hmm. Right. I guess that makes sense.
But after this, I will give you something to eat.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We still got some chicken and some spinach dip.
We did.
Dip the chicken in the spinach dip.
Don't do that. It's gonna be weird.
What? How is it gonna be weird?
Were you eating chicken earlier?
No, I wasn't. Why?
Because you have barbecue sauce on your lips.
Are you sure it's barbecue sauce or is that cheese dust from the cheddar?
It's here on this side.
I think I ate chicken this morning.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right. Are you ready to jump into the pop culture?
Yes, I am. Let's get into it.
So, are you ready to be serious?
Yes, I am. Am I ready? I guess I am. I guess I'm ready.
Okay. So, a few months ago now, we talked about this young woman, Shangquilla Robinson, from North Carolina, who died in Mexico during a friend trip.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very sketchy situation because when people found out about her death by seeing a video that went viral of her friends
Beating the shit out of her.
It was
Jumping
terrible.
her,
It was
yeah.
terrible, and she's like naked there. It was like maybe it was like 3 or 4 girls, maybe 2 or 3 guys. The guys were not in part. They weren't physically a part of the fight, but they were recording it and like egging it on and being like, "Yo, Shangquilla, fight back!" Like in the background. But the women in the video were just beating the shit out of her. It was horrible to watch. Then we got reports that the friend had left Mexico, told her parents that she was with them and they had all her stuff. And then the parents didn't find out until after they got back that their daughter wasn't with them and that their daughter had died. The Mexican autopsy reports said that like her spine was broken and it was just
It's real gruesome
it was very
shit.
terrible. And people have been waiting and there's been like a big call to action for her friends, the people she was with, to face charges and be held accountable for her death.
Yes.
And then this week, it was announced that there are going to be no federal charges coming for the case. The officials met with her family on Wednesday to review the findings of the investigation, which included an autopsy. And they said, based on the results of the autopsy and after careful deliberation and review of the investigative materials by both U.S. Attorney offices, federal prosecutors informed Ms. Robinson's family today that the available evidence does not support a federal prosecution. It is important to reassure the public that experienced federal agents and seasoned prosecutors extensively reviewed the available evidence and have concluded that federal charges cannot be pursued.
Yeah.
Now, I'm very confused as to why no charges could be filed federally.
Same here.
Because it just like
They said that they don't have enough evidence
but
for
we had a
federal
video
shit?
of her last. We had a video of at least we know
When she was
her
last alive.
moments, the last few days of her life where she was beaten up, and the initial autopsy initially her family was told she died of alcohol poisoning. An autopsy report showed that her death was caused by a severe spinal cord or neck injury, which is why Mexican officials put out the arrest warrant. But there have been a lot of inconsistencies. There have been, back and forth between the U.S. and Mexico about who will be basically pushing this trial forward. The family's lawyer said, "We're disappointed, but we're not deterred. It's not something that is necessarily unexpected in the sense that Black and brown people always have to carve their own path to justice."
Yeah.
Mrs. Robinson, her mother, has demonstrated tremendous strength, and I talk about it all the time, as well as her sister. Having to bury your child grieve for your child, and then having to fight for justice for your child at the same time, and then being advised today, well, despite there being a video showing a vicious and brutal attack of your child while she's naked and not fighting back. There is nothing that can be done in terms of charges being filed.
Well, maybe I don't know. Maybe they could bring like a civil suit.
I think a civil suit would be probably the best option.
Yeah.
The attorneys representing the family, along with Ben Crump, said in a statement that there are U.S. and Mexican autopsy reports which show a difference in findings. These discrepancies can be credited to the delay in investigation by U.S. officials who conducted a second autopsy once Shangquilla's body was embalmed. Mm-hmm. When an investigation is delayed, the hard evidence to support prosecution diminishes, but in this case, that is due to the U.S. not considering this case to be a high priority, which was what people were saying when it first came out, and which is why much like when there has been a police shooting against a black person in this country, it's taken a viral video and mass public outcry for something to happen. So it's just very sad. It's not something that, anybody wants to hear, that their family is not going to be getting the judicial justice that they hoped for, because it's like, if you have a video of something, to me, it's always like, why do we need more? And of course, we know that there are deep fakes and edited videos and things like that. But when you can tell that this is something that was just recorded and someone shared themselves.
Yeah, it looked like it was on a closed circuit TV.
Yeah, it was very silly. And I just, we're sending our love and prayers to the family, of her loved ones, anyone that knew her, because this is obviously just a very sad, terrible loss of life. She was only 25, and she should still be here to be making more memories and traveling with her friends and family, and that's no longer the case.
Yeah.
So moving on to Coon Thomas, the Supreme Court Justice.
Coon.
We talked about him last week, about how he's been receiving trips from this Republican mega donor named Harlan Crow, who also, by the way, is a Nazi enthusiast and has a lot of Nazi paraphernalia that he has been showing off on social media, and of course, just being a trash bag person.
How much Nazi memorabilia does it take from you to go from a Nazi enthusiast to a Nazi?
Just hard stuff.
Nazi, yeah.
I mean, I think he's a Nazi regardless. I think he's just, showing his stuff. Hi, Auntie.
Hello there.
He's a Nazi enthusiast. He's a Nazi. He's a Nazi sympathizer. Either way, he's a Nazi.
Yes.
And he supports Clarence Thomas, which just tells you everything you should know about the man and his tastes. Yeah. But some updates to that story. Apparently, this week we found out that Clarence's family has been earning a rental income from a Nebraska real estate firm that has been closed for nearly 2 decades, since 2006. And he's been getting between $50,000 to $100,000 from that annually.
And yet he can't afford to buy better suits. That motherfucker looks trash. Let's just call a spade a spade.
The company is called Ginger Ltd Partnership, which is a terrible name.
Ginger.
And it was closed and replaced by a new firm in 2006 called Ginger Holdings LLC. His name is not mentioned on that, but that doesn't really mean much.
Did you know that ginger was the anagram for the N-word?
I did not know, but
like
yes,
the same letters just moved around.
Was that something that you've heard? Like, are white people calling us gingers?
No, they're not.
Oh, maybe that's why gingers, are so hated.
Because they're just.
Because this is actually okay. This is something that I learned a long time ago. So do not ask me where. But there was one time a long time ago I was watching something about the Irish and like why redheads were considered like evil.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, I think there's like, now I could be wrong, so please don't quote me. But apparently, like being a redhead is like a recessive gene from having like African ancestry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there were plenty of Black Irishmen, so who knows? And this could be just, it could be folklore that just causes them to be extra racist and terrible to them.
Yeah, I think
But,
it's like folklore.
I mean, who knows? Either way, white supremacy is terrible and fucks us all up.
Well, now all I can think about is how in Rome or back in Roman times, they used to think that left-handed people were evil.
Oh, that was until my mom was left-handed, and they forced her. They forced her to
use her right hand. Yeah. Like,
sometimes she thinks that she says she thinks that's what might have like not spurred on her ADHD, but like made the ADHD kind of worse because you're having to rectify a natural portion of yourself. Right. So I mean, honestly, who knows? But anyway, Clarence Thomas, he's terrible. He has been called to not really work on the courts anymore, which has been happening for a while. Because he's done things like he hasn't recused himself from cases where his wife is involved, who's also super Trump supporter and helped fund the insurrection.
Yes. Never forget that his wife was fueling the fires of fucking bringing down democracy.
Well,
or them climbing walls like they were fucking Spider-Man all over the fucking courthouse.
Chairman Dick Durbin of Illinois and the Senate Judiciary panel's 10 other Democratic members have announced that they will hold a hearing in the coming days on the need to restore confidence in the Supreme Court's ethical standards. Just fucking fire him.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Like, couldn't we set a precedent where we fire a Supreme Court justice?
Just do it. Just do it. I don't know. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why why this is still an issue. Just do it. There's no need to be fighting with this man.
Yeah, it's really stupid. I would say, like, this is why we need term limits when it comes to the justices. Like, it can't just be like, is it the only job that I could think of in America where it's for life? Like, presidents don't. We stopped having presidents for life. We stopped having congressmen for life. We gotta get like these fucking justices like a 10-year term limit.
Get out of here. The max, I think that the max you should be able to be in any.
You should have to automatically retire at like 65.
After like 5 years, I feel like it should be voted again every 5 years. The same way we have every 4 years for president. If you're doing a good job, hopefully every 5 years you can be reinstated, and then it'll just be. I guess there will still be the politics of it, of like who's going to be voting and campaigning for who. But like, we just need a change. And speaking of change, and adding more progressive people and young people to the government, the Justins, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson from Tennessee, have been reinstated 3 days after they were booted from the Tennessee legislature. The Nashville City Council voted unanimously to return Justin Jones to the legislature on Monday during a special session, 36-0. He said, "I want to welcome democracy back to the people's house. Truth crushed to the ground will rise again. No injustice attack on democracy will happen unchallenged." So I'm just happy that happened. I mean, of course, we still have to deal with the terrible, shocking debacle that happened in the courthouse. I mean, they were booted They were expelled for being in a gun protest, which literally days prior, I think it was either days prior or days after, there was a shooting. There was 2 shootings in Tennessee that killed people, and yet you have representatives who are actually putting themselves on the line and trying to get people to have a safe, happy, and healthy life in their state, and you have these assholes who are pushing back against that. So it's good that they're back. They had I wonder if it hadn't been shown live, if people would have really given a care if they hadn't seen it and they just read about it. But we are glad that we're glad that they're back in office because we need them.
Yes.
We need more young, progressive black folks
in positions of power.
Yes.
Yes.
Because we have black folk like Clarence Thomas who are in power, but that doesn't mean they're progressive. That doesn't mean that they want what everybody wants. Mm-hmm. There are some black men who don't want to topple white supremacy. They just want to become the oppressors.
Yeah.
So
bunch of fucking manosphere ass,
red pill,
hotep ass dudes.
Just we have to
Folks,
deal.
Where's the line?
We are dealing with a lot. But at least we know that there are some people that are in the government who, at least from what we're seeing, want to create a better place. And I just, I can't fault them. And I hope that we see more of that. We get more young people in Congress, more young people in the Senate. Like, we need to have people anywhere that decisions are made. We need to have folks who are ready to make a change. Yeah. So, always happy about that. But speaking of Tennessee, again, it's in the news for shootings. This week, a Walgreens employee in Nashville, Tennessee, shot 24-year-old pregnant Trayvonsha for. Oh my God!
Are you just reading this?
No, I read a portion of it before, but I didn't read her name, and the name just Trayvonsha Ferguson, where it's like we have Trayvon
Martin and Ferguson.
It's just
Jesus Christ.
Either way, unfortunately, Trayvonna Ferguson, who was pregnant, was in the store's parking lot, and allegedly someone said she had shoplifted, and Materius Boyd said he fired his semi-automatic weapon in self-defense because he was in fear.
Why the fuck are you having... Look, I've been to Walgreens before, and there's nothing in Walgreens that's sacred to fucking bring a gun to work to then protect a fucking...
Are you trying to protect
insurance
the freaking Sudafed?
fucking corporation?
No. And if you work in any of these companies, it doesn't matter where it is. These people have insurance for a reason.
They have insurance.
It's $1 billion companies. This is not your mom's mom shop.
Yeah, it's not like
it's not the candy lady on the
mom and pop shop.
These people have insurance for
General
a reason.
store.
Leave these people alone. And Materius Boyd. Now I didn't look him up. It sounds like a very black name, but honestly, you could never be sure. And I don't know if it'll be better or worse if he's black. But he's 21. He said he didn't know if Trayvonsha or the woman with her would have had a weapon.
I'm hoping it was that white guy.
I hope so too, but it probably wasn't.
But no, he looked too old to be 21.
He said that allegedly the 2 women were taking cosmetics from the store. He was recording them on his cell phone as they placed their items in the cart and a large bag, and he followed them to the car. When he came to the rear, one of the women pulled out a can of mace and sprayed as Boyd started shooting. Yeah, if you follow me to my car, I'm going to spray you.
Yeah, you're gonna get maced.
Like, this is not like you came out the store to follow these people. For what reason? You think that Walgreens can't afford the freaking $10 Maybelline eyeshadow? And it's not MAC. It's not Sephora. You get e.l.f. products here. These are $10, $15 products at max. Even if they shoplifted $100 worth of stuff, it would not be reason enough for me to take my black ass outside to follow anybody for anything.
Yeah.
The insurance will take care of it.
Yes.
Leave people alone. And why are y'all always caping for these companies that would literally...
And the company don't give a fuck about you.
They would literally...
I guarantee you the company's not paying for this motherfucker's legal fees or anything like that.
They might even fire him after.
They're probably washing their hands. Nope, he's been terminated. Fuck this guy. Like, get this guy out of here. This guy is a joke.
Well, after he shot out the women, her friend drove Ferguson to the hospital. They had to do an emergency C-section. The baby wasn't injured by the gunfire. But as of right now, the Ferguson and the baby are still hospitalized and in critical condition. And what does that say? Boyd is no longer employed at Walgreens. So, you did all of that.
And
for
now
nothing.
you ain't got no job.
You have no job, you have no benefits,
you got
nothing.
no prospects, because who's going to want to hire a motherfucker who, like, fucking brings a gun to work?
Why do you have a semi-automatic? What were you planning on doing?
Is that him?
I think this might be him. I think this might be him. Just looking at a picture, it looks like there's a young black man. I mean, his name is Materius, so I'm it looks like a young black man. I don't know why he thought, don't get in white people's business. This is white people's business.
Yes, that is some white people shit.
I'm not interested in protecting a multi-million billion-dollar company. I will not. Am I going to steal things from them? No. But I'm not going to risk my life. What if they had a gun to get them? And I remember in college, when I worked in PG Plaza, watching people run out of that DTLR with all their, Nike boots. And those people would be like, all right, well, because they would say if you touch them, you could be fired. So it's like, why even put yourself through it? So we pray for people to have more common sense than they currently do.
Yes. And
leave people alone. And we don't need to have any more black people being shot. It happens enough. Every week we have more and more stories. I can't even keep up with them. And honestly, I don't even really look into most of them anymore because it's depressing and it's terrible. And we don't need to have black people as agents of chaos for white supremacy. Just leave people alone. And this is why we need to have people like Justin Jones and Justin Pearson combating gun rights in this country, because who needs a semi-automatic just on their person for no reason? So, all right, moving on to less depressing news. Well, actually, this is a little depressing and sad.
Oh, I thought it was the
no,
thing.
Because I found out that was old.
Oh, that's old?
Yeah.
Okay, so...
So, what's his name? Nick Cannon. Our century's Genghis Khan.
Yes.
Because of Nick Khan.
Nick Khan, yeah. There actually is a Nick Khan in WWE, so.
Oh, have I seen him before?
No, he's not a wrestler. He's like a businessman. He's like one of the CEOs.
Oh wait, I think was he the young?
No, not Tony Khan from AEW.
Okay.
That's Tony Khan. There's a Nick Khan.
Okay.
But Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan was on Howard Stern.
Genghis Khan.
And was talking about his children. He was talking about he wanted to have a baby with Taylor Swift because they both have the same numbers, which was weird. But Howard Stern had asked him if he could name all of his children. He has 12 of them. he was naming a bunch. And unfortunately, he forgot the child that he has with Lanisha Cole, who is 7 months old. Her name is Onyx Ice. Terrible name, but she's an adorable little girl.
Yeah. Terrible name, though. I would say that it is reasonable if you have that many children.
Oh yeah, how could you
by that many people to just sort of forget which children?
My father calls me every other name but mine when he's talking to me. He calls me. It's like hilarious because it's like when we were in Thailand and it's me and all my cousins. He's just looking at us, pointing, calling us all somebody's name. It's like I'm talking about. Come here. So I can't imagine you having 12 children and you have to keep that. And then especially you have 12 children with a variety of women.
Yeah.
And you're not even able to spend how much time, like how much face time in person are you getting with your 12 children a month when you have them spread across the country? You don't have them in like a compound where you can at least visit them throughout the week. They are spread around. So of course you might forget some because you have been a irresponsible parent and haven't been making sure that you spend the enough quality time with all your children, and many of them are infants or a year and under, 2 years and under, and now you're forgetting them. But Onyx's mother, she posted a message after the clip went viral, and she said that it's weird having your life play out in front of an audience. It's not normal to have your life play out in front of an audience, but this is the age we live in. That being said, no person's path is linear. There's going to be blind curves, peaks, valleys, and sometimes we make wrong turns or run into dead ends. Simply correct course and get back on moving forward. I pray every day for strength, guidance, and peace, regardless of where I'm on my path. I know that God's got me, and I've got Onyx.
Aww.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel bad for these instances of people not showing that they are not actually caring for their children the way that they should, because I feel like I don't know.
Hello there.
Hi, Mommy. I don't personally know what it's like to not feel loved, wanted, and like ownership taken by my parents about me.
Yes.
So it always I know people who have had that happen. I know people who for whatever reason maybe they were created outside of their parents' relationship, and there's animosity, and maybe the father or doesn't always take the responsibility. Mom, you cannot join the video.
No. Oh, well, first off, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But also, yeah, you cannot join the video. We're not doing this. First off, you're not mic'd up. There's no microphone for you. It would be interruption of the live at the highest order. But you're free to watch. You're free to watch us do our thing.
Yes. Well, you sent the request, so I just wanted to make sure that you knew that you were pressing. Maybe you just pressed the wrong button.
Yeah.
But either way, I always feel like, to me, if I found out that one of my parents had some random child out there that they never told us about, I would be upset about that, not because they had another child, but because that other child would have grown up thinking that maybe they aren't loved, aren't wanted, aren't seen and appreciated by their family. And I don't want anybody to feel that way. Because I think that it's terrible to not feel wanted. And I think that parents... Oh, man. All right. We're having so much difficulties. Can you see on your phone?
No.
Sorry, call came in. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb, I think, but apparently it doesn't matter. All right. Can you see us? Are we here? Am I moving?
Yeah, you're back.
All right, sorry. Call came in and messed it up. I think that parents have they have their due. There's their obligation to, if you have, whether you're married and you have a child outside of that family, or if you just have a partnership and you have a child outside of that partnership, it is your job to ensure that all of your children have a relationship with each other. It is your job to ensure that you are keeping that relationship healthy and doing whatever you need to do to make sure you're building the bridges and not burning them, because you never want a child to feel like they aren't wanted and they are just this like piece of luggage you can just drop off anywhere. So Nick Cannon just needs to do better, because there's no, it's like, yes, I understand how that could happen. There's you have a lot of children, and he tried to say that he got thrown off because he was going in order, and, Howard answered no question. But there's no reason for you to have done this except for your ego. Mm-hmm. For whatever the reason, you decided to have all these children by all these different women in all these different parts of the country and not, make a plan. It's your fault. And you're the one that needs to make sure that your children are feeling your love. Because even Mariah was saying he wasn't spending enough time with their twins.
How can he spend any time with anybody? The dude works like...
he has to work.
He has all of these jobs
he
that he
needs
has.
Them.
Fucking Wildin' Out and The Masked Singer. He has to work to pay for all of these fucking children. Like, he's not spending any amount of time. No amount of time is going to be good enough to spend. There's 24 hours in a day, 525,600 minutes in a year.
Maybe, he might have had a nervous breakdown. Who knows? Maybe he did, but either way,
maybe it was from having all those kids.
He needs to get his life together. Go to therapy. Find a family counselor.
Drink some water. Take your medication and supplements.
Yes. He needs to get a family counselor. He needs to work on that together with all the people in the family, so that as the kids grow, they can just not feel as abandoned.
Isn't there a TLC show called 13 and Growing or some shit like that?
Yeah, 13 kids and there's so many. It's like 13 kids and counting.
Yeah.
But at least, I personally...
Too many kids.
Personally.
Too many kids.
Don't think you should have more than a certain amount of children, even in your own respective relationship, unless maybe you have
negotiated it. And
no, well,
had a
it's like, say if you have
with your partner about having this X amount of kids or anything like that. I'm never gonna take away anybody's want to have a lot of kids,
but I think that
that's a thing that people.
It's like, say if you have
if
you have 3 children with two. Oh, that was a joke. The show with Kevin Hart. That was just a prank.
Yeah, that was a prank.
If you have 3 children and you have them, maybe a year and a half, 2 years apart, and then 10 years later, you have more kids. I feel like that is a difference, and then you have 3 more, or something like that. That gives you a large enough break where you can spend that quality time with those small kids, versus having 6 kids back to back. Oh, that one, Celebrity Pranks. Okay, I haven't watched that one yet. But having 10 kids where each of them are a year apart means that even when you have the one kid, you're pregnant with the other kid. And I don't know if anyone knows anything about pregnancy, but being pregnant drains you of all your sensibilities, your emotions.
You can't have sushi.
You can't have sushi, no. And just
you can't get on roller coasters or certain planes depending on the trimester.
The things that you'd be doing with a baby will be more difficult if you're pregnant, because you're going to be tired. You never know if you might be in bed rest. So all those things, the bonding and stuff, it might be more difficult. So when people have babies back to back to back to back, and not because they needed to, because they have some issue getting pregnant. Are you okay? You hit your funny bone?
I hit my funny bone.
It's not that they don't have it, and it's like they have an issue at getting pregnant, so they need to like have 2 or 3 babies right back to back so that they can like, then they'll be done. This is just like, I don't know if it's ego, if it's religion, culture, whatever, telling them that they need to keep having all these babies, but then who's watching those babies?
Who's caring for them?
It'll be the eldest sibling caring for the younger ones, and every child is getting a reduced amount of parental time because everybody is then becoming a parent, and that's just too much. I think that people just really need to think about what it means to be a parent.
Yes.
To like 2 kids, perfect. 3 kids is like it starts getting a little bit more draining, and every time after that, it's more and more selflessness that you need to inhibit in yourself to be able to properly take care of these beings that you decided to bring to the world.
Yes.
Just be mindful of that.
Yes, be mindful.
All right. In more celebrity news, Drake Bell from Drake and Josh.
That fucking predator.
There was a scare this weekend because his brother reported him missing because allegedly on April 12th he had made suicidal comments because his brother said he was distraught over a custody dispute that he's been having with his estranged wife, Janet Von Schmeling, who he'd been visiting in Florida to discuss a child custody agreement. They have a 2-year-old son. So apparently he had sent texts to his mom saying he didn't want to live anymore, and Robert sent the police the screenshots and a voice recording of Drake talking about harming himself. And the police were looking for him. They were unable to find him or make contact. And there was a missing persons alert for Drake on Facebook, where he was considered missing and endangered. They later located him and said that they could inform that they were in contact with him and he was safe. Online, on Twitter, he put that you leave your phone in your car and won't answer for the night. And this saying that basically people were overreacting. Honestly, Drake Bell has had a very sad fall, he's definitely had the child star curse.
Yes.
Of like, because we thought he made it out of all that, but then when afterwards we started hearing things about him being a predator and talking to young girls, and I think he was touching them, or was he touching a young girl or having a relationship with a young girl?
I forget which one it was. I forget.
He's definitely had a tumultuous last few years, but it's one of those things where I feel empathy for him, knowing that he was working with people like Dan Schneider, who's allegedly been a notorious child molester and just creep and sexual predator throughout the Nickelodeon.
Or hung out with fucking predators, because there was like a documented history of him like hanging out with like a few Nickelodeon people who later turned out to be predators. John Kay, the creator of Ren and Stimpy, also a fucking predator and a creep.
And it's sad because you know that sometimes when these things happen, it's not that I won't have like a disgust or distaste for the person's actions and wanting them to face accountability, but also knowing that these children were mentally, physically, emotionally abused, sexually abused, and this is the like acting out, or though this is the way it's manifesting, and it's very sad.
Yes.
Everyone's trauma comes out in a different way. If you're not getting the help you need, who knows how that's going to come. Some people, they get hurt and they take that pain and they turn it into something positive or try to help people and move away from whatever caused them that hurt. And some people just fall backwards and turn to the monsters that hurt them. So I both wish that he gets the help he needs with his suicidal ideations. That's why. Yes.
I would think it was because you're too short.
No.
That's the reason why I couldn't be a model, is because I was too short.
When I was a child model, being a child model, you could be any size. You could be cute. You don't need to be a tall model until you're like older, like a teenager.
Maybe that's why.
But we hope that he is safe, but also still wanting him to get accountability.
Right. Of course.
And then maybe he doesn't need to get his child, outside of supervised visits. Who knows? But he just needs to be taking care of himself. Now, moving forward, E40. Tell me where to go. All right. He was at the NBA playoff game.
I can't name an E40 song.
Tell me when to go.
No.
Shake them dreads.
No.
I
get him mixed up with Batman Scoop all the time.
Yeah, I do sometimes. Yeah, they were around the same era. Well, he was at a Warriors game, Warriors Kings game in Sacramento.
Hello.
And he was ejected, and he is saying that it was racism. So apparently, he was a fan. He and a white female fan were at the game, and the white woman was apparently heckling him. He turns back to say something, and the security tosses him out, not her. He put out a statement.
Fucking Karens all of the world.
I can't even enjoy a basketball game.
Can't enjoy a basketball game without having a Karen around to heckle and get motherfuckers ejected and shit. That's so fucked up.
He put out a statement that said, on Saturday night, I was subjected to disrespectful heckling over the course of the Warriors-Kings game in Sacramento. During the fourth quarter, I finally turned around and addressed one heckler in an assertive and polite manner. Yet shortly thereafter, King's security team approached me, assumed that I instigated the encounter, and proceeded to kick me out of the arena. Unfortunately, it was yet another reminder that, despite my success and accolades as a musician and entrepreneur, racial bias remains prevalent. Security saw a disagreement between a black man and a white woman and immediately assumed that I was at fault. I've attended countless NBA games throughout my lifetime and have always prided myself in professionalism. So this experience has been jarring. I was absolutely humiliated by the King security team, and I'm calling on the franchise to investigate the appalling conduct that transpired. I'm truly grateful for my fans and supporters that have reached out to express their concerns and disappointment regarding these disheartening circumstances, and I hope those involved are held accountable for their behavior. Can I just say, my favorite thing is when black people are like disrespected and they come out with a statement, because it's always the most like supremely shady, dragging.
Yes.
But no, there doesn't have to be a curse word. There doesn't have to be like angry talk. It's just like thereafter,
yeah,
some shit popped off and you didn't deal with it. I just feel like there's an art form to it. Because E40 is definitely somebody who like could have had a very different.
This could have gone a number of different ways.
Yes, but the way that he just, and it's not about him being eloquent, it's just like, I love a good, well-read, shady response. A well-written, shady response.
Yeah.
But this is, again, Karen's being annoying and frustrating and racist and causing people to have discomfort in what should be a fun time. Like, I should be able to be at this game. In sports, we trash talk. The same way they were trying to get at, oh man, what's the young girl who's a LSU player? Was it Angela Reese?
I'm not sure.
The young girl who was like trash talking in the basketball game, and they were trying to be like, oh my God, our feelings are hurt. She should be kicked out and reprimanded. And it's like, no, you trash talk during games. So sometimes that happens, but also there are people who take it too far.
Yeah,
if you are trash talking me,
you have to know your audience.
Yeah, like if you're trash talking me and I'm not responding and we're not having like banter, then you're just being an asshole and being obnoxious for no reason. So me turning around and being like, shut the fuck up, is not an argument. It's not me instigating anything. It's just me saying, shut the fuck up because you're being obnoxious and you don't know when to stop.
Yes.
And if you don't know when to stop, well, maybe I'll have to stop it for you. And that could go either way. Mm-hmm. So, E40, you have our support. And I would love if they had some video come out showing this heckler and what she looks like, so we could all troll her.
Yes, I would love nothing more than to troll this heckler. What's next?
All right. There was a Air Force man who committed treason on Discord. Now, I use Discord for a lot of things.
Yeah.
I did not see treason being one of them. But the FBI arrested a member of the Massachusetts Air National Guard in connection with the disclosure of highly classified military documents on the war in Ukraine. Attorney General Merrick Garland said today the Justice Department arrested Jack Douglas Tyrexia. I don't know how to pronounce it. In connection with an investigation into alleged unauthorized removal, transmission, and transition of classified national defense information. He is Tizera. Okay.
It's always crazy to me that the X makes the Z sound.
Yeah. He's an employee of the United States Air National Guard. Now, I had seen this story about how he was a leader of a gaming group on Discord called Thug Shaker Central. They were a group of geeky guys who in 2020 sought each other out after being locked down during COVID.
Movers and shakers.
Yeah, it was terrible. Now the thing is, he is 21. He's very young. You make stupid mistakes at 21. But also, where this group probably like the beginnings of an incel counter, domestic terrorist cell. I don't know. You can't trust these young white men who probably have access to guns. Mm-hmm. I don't want them. I don't need them
Kiki
coming together
with military secrets.
No. Why are you? First of all,
why are you on Discord with these military secrets?
Like
that'd be worse. It'd be worse if it was Twitch.
Like, my thing is, I can understand being like, oh, this shit's happening at work, and you might tell your friends, like, oh, look what's going on. But, like, if you're transmitting classified documents over a non-secured server, it's as if you want them to get hacked, or you want someone to share it. You're whistleblowing, and why would you be whistleblowing anything on the Ukrainian war unless are you an incel for Putin? I don't know. I don't like it. And they got arrested. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. But I watched the video of them arresting him. They did arrest him very nicely. So you can just take that as you will.
He's white. Of course they arrested him nicely.
I didn't see one. They weren't even like screaming at him. They were just like, come on. They put the cuffs on him. And then we're like, all right.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Next.
So now to good black news. The Texas Southern cheerleading squad made history this week when they won a national title. They won at the National Cheerleaders Association's annual competition on Friday. And
Bring it on.
Listen, I was a cheerleader, and these type of competitions were like, I wanted to go to them so bad. I just was at a very small school, so we never got to like compete in them. But like, cheerleading is so intense. It's so fun. You're getting to mix dancing and gymnastics, my two favorite things. And I love these type of competitions. I would 100% pay to go to cheerleading. Like, sports may not be like the thing that I'm always about. Like, I'm not gonna necessarily pay to go to a bunch of games, but I would 100% pay to go to cheerleading competitions. Okay? Because you gotta be aggressive. Be aggressive.
Be aggressive. Be aggressive.
And in other poppin' HBCU news, our alma mater,
HU,
the real HU, received $350,000 from
Lil
Durk. He gave them in grants and scholarships, which is dope. Although I did hear there was some hater online whose Twitter handle was like Kiki Palmer, or no, Lori Harvard Jr. And she was talking about there are more HBCUs than Howard. You go into her Twitter bio and it just says HBCU grad. So what's the HBCU?
Yeah, which one?
Which one is it?
Which one is it?
Because if there are so many, you didn't even name
Name
yours.
Yeah, exactly. Like if there, first off, yes, there are other HBCUs.
But there's only one Mecca.
But there's only one.
And honestly,
Highlander rules. At the end of the day, when the nuclear fucking bombs start dropping, guess what's gonna be around? Howard University.
Exactly. And other great Howard news.
Did I just call us cockroaches?
No. You called us impervious to destruction.
Yes.
We also just got Stacey Abrams is going to be a chair, I think, in the poli-sci department. So, like, we are winning. And the thing is, it's not that I want all HBCUs to win. I have love for every HBCU, even Hampton. In spite of itself. So if something happens in another HBCU, I'm not going to be like, but what about Howard? I'm going to be like, great. And HBCU is getting money because you want to know what? When one HBCU gets money, the rest of us get more recognition. Everybody starts talking about HBCUs. Why do you think Morris Brown is back and accredited in a school again and has like getting money and funding? Because you might have a small group that is seen at first. Howard, Hampton, Morehouse, Spelman, Texas A&M, and Florida A&M. Like, sure, there are some that get the top accolades, but also you will never meet a Howard Bison who doesn't shout out their school unless they like absolutely hated their experience.
And I don't know that many people who did.
I don't know that many people that did. And even if they hated,
only attended like a semester or two, like fucking.
Did he?
I was gonna say my friend.
Yes.
My friend who only attended for a semester still has their
the love in your
Howard
heart,
shirt.
because you don't have to. There are people who don't love Howard like administration, but that loved Howard people.
Yes.
So unless you had some sort of traumatic situation with both, you're still gonna be calling them out, loving them, like hyping them up. And also, I've never met a Howard grad who hasn't been vehemently pro HBCUs. Regardless, if I was a hiring manager and I see an HBCU, I'm 100% gonna be pushing that. I don't care what the HBCU it is, but I'm gonna want more HBCUs in this space, getting their accolades. Like, even what's his name? Blackish guy, Kenya Barris.
Yes.
In his own show, who did he say that Dre went to? Howard. And where did he go? He went to he's an Aggie.
Although I don't like the fact that his son Junior.
No, I didn't like that either.
Went to Howard and was like, I'm gonna take a semester off, and then
went to a white school.
Went to a fucking white.
I didn't like that. But let's say,
a white girl who did not get any sort of development whatsoever as far as the character.
No, it was terrible.
She was conservative, but then none of her conservative values came out. There was no like head to head, and then got dumped. You got dumped, Junior.
It was terrible. But you could never say, like, a Howard person, you are A&T Aggie. Why wouldn't you have an Aggie? Why wouldn't you have them going to Aggie, be an Aggie? No, you didn't. You had them being a Bison. We can't help that we're the best
me too.
And it's better than the rest.
That's the last one.
But we're going to be right back.
Yes, we'll be back with more of the Black and Snerdy podcast. We're going to take a quick break before Instagram boots us off. We will stay tuned. We'll be back with more, okay?
Yes.
You're listening to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
We now return to the Black and Snerdy podcast.
3 little birds sat on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girl double dutch on the concrete. Maybe sometimes we've got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more they stay the same. Don't you hesitate, girl, put your record on. Tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your head down. Sapphire and faded jeans, I hope you get your dream. Just go ahead, let your head down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow. I hope she's doing okay.
Me
Kareem Bailey
too.
Ray.
I
haven't
love her.
Haven't heard from her in such a long time. I used to have like not the biggest crush, but I had a mini crush on Kareem
I definitely
Bailey
had a
Ray.
crush on her. I love
I
her.
was just like, oh, look at this. She smells like
Cocoa
fucking
butter and
essential oils and shit.
my aesthetic, 100%.
Of course, it's your aesthetic. She probably fucks herself with a crystal.
We're moving
That's
on to
not.
questions. We're moving.
That was hyperbole. That was
We're
hyperbole.
moving on.
Hyperbolic, okay?
to questions.
Hyperbole. There's jokes, okay? Jesus. Sorry, something just dawned on me as soon as I said that. I was just like, yeah, I'm being hyperbolic. I'm being facetious.
Well, question.
Yes, oh, yeah. So, we always start off our,
Mental health segment?
Mental health segment by reminding people that we are not experts.
We're advocates.
We are advocates for mental health, and this is why we come together every week to check in with each other's mental health journeys and always start off with a mental health question. Hit me with it.
Have you ever been bullied?
Oh, yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah. You don't have a name like Licorish and not get fucking bullied. Kids are the fucking worst. Kids are awful.
And adults.
Well, I didn't get bullied. Well, I don't think I got bullied by adults. Well, that's
You're
not
lucky.
true. Like, what do you mean?
So you're lucky.
You've been bullied by adults?
Yes.
Because of your name?
For lots of things, but including my name. Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it sucks.
So what were you bullied for? Besides your name?
Last name, I was the,
Yeah.
damn. Yeah, it you know, where did,
Cooties.
I feel like Cooties has existed for so long
Yeah.
that, like, it makes no sense to me that, like, it should still be a thing.
Yeah.
Especially because there are actual diseases that exist that, like, it, you know what it is? It feels like a proxy for, like, an actual contagious, debilitating
I'm sure it is.
Oh, you get cooties from girls.
Yeah. I mean, I was bullied
Get
for...
herpes from boys. Hey.
You get HPV from boys, 100%.
Sorry, HPV. That's
but
what I
could
meant to say.
turn into...
Yeah.
I was bullied for my name. I was bullied for my hair. One time, I was talking about my grandpa being like the chief, and the kids on my bus were calling me the princess of the mud.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was bullied for anything and everything.
I would turn that into affirmation of just like, yeah, that's right. I got it out the mud, 10 toes down. Came from the mud.
But I was bullied for different things. I was bullied for reading. I was bullied for talking the Queen's English that we were learning in school.
I was a nerd, so of course I got bullied.
It was like, and the thing is,
I didn't like sports. I wasn't athletic. I only focused on comic books and shit.
it was one of the reasons I'm so sensitive now is because I was bullied, and I was getting it from all parts. I mean, being tall. My mom is 5'9". She's been 5'9".
A real stallion.
Yes, she's been that tall since she was like 11, 12.
Yeah.
So, people are mean. Like adults, kids, people bully people, and as much as I am able to be like sarcastic and all that, that's only because I was bullied so bad, and I had to be able to come back with a retort, and that is why I don't like playing like the dozens or things, because I am not going to be regular dozen-y. I'm going to say things that are too mean, because those are the first things that come to my head. That I'm going to say the thing that is going to hurt your heart.
You're like that guy from the episode of Grand Crew.
Exactly. Because it's like, for me, I don't find joy in making people feel bad. Like sometimes, of course you could play, like you're talking about like harmless things, but
Looking ass.
I don't feel like being mean to people is fun.
Octavia Butler looking ass.
And people do, like, I remember one time this guy called me, he was like, whatever, Whoopi Goldberg. And growing up, even though Whoopi Goldberg is beautiful, growing up, because she was dark skinned.
The pinnacle. She wasn't seen aesthetically as the pinnacle.
She was dark skinned with natural hair, and it was just like, oh, she's ugly. When meanwhile, when you look at her, you're like, where ugly? Where? If she had been out now, no one would have been calling her ugly.
Whoopi.
But it was like they would call me Whoopi. They would call me Oprah, which also like the fuck I am Oprah because I'm a rich bitch, okay? And I'm better than all of you hoes. So thank you. And I'm like, I don't feel the need to bring chaos and disorder into people's lives for the sake of it. Like, if I'm going to bully you, that's because you've done something that deserved my bullying. And not because you were just being the person you are and I just, like, didn't understand it or didn't like it.
There's this bullying anime that I think we should watch together.
Which one?
It's A Silent Voice. It's really good. It's about this kid who bullied this deaf girl when he was in elementary school, but then he went too far and then he ended up getting bullied. And so then years later in high school, he tries to make amends.
They always try to make amends. The white girl that told me I couldn't join the friend group that she was creating in 3rd grade because I was black, she one time messaged me on Facebook like, I'm really sorry, I was taught certain things at home. And I was just like, I'm not even going to respond. Not to say that it wasn't nice of her to do that and talk about her terrible upbringing. But I didn't care because, you know what? It doesn't matter about what your upbringing was. She made me feel bad about that. I remember one time her, like, questioning me about my dark gums. Because when you're little, your gums, how your gums are darker. Sometimes
is that true?
Well, sometimes black people will have, like, brownish gums.
I thought that was just, like, from smoking.
I think that when you're a baby, your gums might be darker, and then as you get older, they get pink. Because my gums, well, I'm not going to do it now. My gums are pink now, but as a kid, they were dark, and it was not something that I even noticed or thought about until one day we were at recess, and she's like, why don't all black people have dark gums? And I was like, we do? And I came home, and I was like, Mom, why do black people have dark gums? Honestly, I was saying this the other day, it is a form of violence to put your children in all white schools. And unfortunately, my parents had no choice because we were in a terrible school district. And if I had not been put in private school, who knows whether I would have made it out to do anything with my life. And so I was forced to go to school with a bunch of white people who did not like black people and a bunch of black people who were confused about their blackness in various ways. And so it was a very violent time, which is why now I feel like I'm tired. Like all the things that we talk about now, social justice, like I've been having these conversations since I was a child, and I'm absolutely tired of having them and do not wish that on my worst enemy. Because you should be able to go to school and not feel bullied, but you were also it saved your life, but you were also bullied for being who you were and bullied for being black because you were in all white space. It doesn't matter. When you're in white spaces, people are going to bully you, and you have to navigate all of that for the rest of your life. But yeah, so yes, that's the answer to the question.
Yes.
Now, how's your mental health been this week?
My mental health has been fine. I'm still debating if I should go back to therapy.
Why are you debating it?
Why am I debating it? It's more of a money thing. That's all. It's looking at my finances, how much, and this is also a rough period because my birthday is this time period. Someone else's birthday is like 2 months the fuck away and doesn't want to constrict their birthday to just one day. It has to be a fucking month and a week and stuff. Even though they're going on vacation to go see fucking Beyonce, they still expect other stuff to happen for their actual birthday after the birthday has already taken place. So, money is kind of tight. And I don't want to start therapy. I don't want to take on another thing that's not cost effective. I don't want to...
Cost prohibitive?
Yeah, cost prohibitive, So that's what I'm debating right now.
Well, what if you just do like once a month? It's like $35 a month, right? Like $35 a session. You do like once a month?
Maybe. I'm debating. I have all these streaming services that I'm paying for too. You gotta remember. I'm paying for HBO Max. I'm paying for Netflix. I'm paying for Hulu. I'm paying for Crunchyroll. I'm paying for Funimation. That's 5 fucking streaming services.
Why don't they combine Crunchyroll and Funimation?
They were supposed to, but my TV doesn't get Crunchyroll. Cause I would only have one Crunchyroll or Funimation. But my problem is that Crunchyroll doesn't have the One Piece dubs, and Funimation doesn't have the new anime. Like they just have they stopped putting on their new animes because Crunchyroll and Crunchyroll owns Funimation. But the problem is that Funimation, they no longer put on the newest anime on Funimation. They just do second and third seasons of already existing anime. So My Hero Academia or the Little Prince, not the Little Prince. The one with the shadowy demon who looks like he has an eye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, so or Kaguya-sama Love is War.
Oh, I like that one.
Yes.
Did we finish watching that?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
We should. We're almost finished Puella Magica.
Yes.
So
how many seasons is that one?
Only one. That's why I wanted to put it on because it's only one season.
I thought we were gonna have more. Okay.
No. You want more of that dark ass?
Yeah,
fucking
I like it. I'm a magical
show?
girl.
Okay. Well. Of course you are. Of course you are. You're a magical girl. Yeah, you turn around and transform into light and some other poor shit. But
outside of that, how has it been?
Yeah. Otherwise, there was some anxiety about this weekend, but luckily mostly everything went off without a hitch.
95%.
95%. I would even chalk it up to 97%.
It was a small hiccup.
A small smattering of an issue. And it wasn't even my fault. I didn't do anything wrong.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Unfortunately, somebody, pissed off somebody else.
And that turned into a little bit of a thing.
Yeah,
But you know what? It was handled. And you had everybody here to handle it for you.
Yes, thank you so much. I will get to that when I talk about the things that are making me happy.
So, okay, for me, I would say that this week, mental health wise, has been good for the most part. I feel like there's some roadblocks I've been having.
Some blockers.
There's blockers that I've been having.
I hate work jargon.
That
Ping
me. That have been annoying me. But I'm working with my therapist, and she always is giving me shady auntie advice, and that's in a good way. I call her my shady auntie because she's like that aunt who you talk to who's going to tell you the real thing, but she's going to have a little bit of shade because she's going to be like, you already know this already. You're already capable. You're dope as fuck, so I don't know why you would not be thinking that you could do all these things. And it's true. I could do anything that I want, what I put my mind to.
In living color.
But that doesn't make me any less nervous about doing it.
Sup, Tammy?
I get stressed out and anxious.
One of these days, a certain group is going to pop in to see what we're doing.
I hope not.
I hope so. I hope one day, so I can just be like, "Hey, what up, y'all? This is what we do outside of your house." Just a couple of black nerds podcasting on a podcast, keeping our secrets.
But I will say that, I feel like this week was a testament of all of the work I'm doing. I was able to reduce my anxiety about this upcoming week with everything that we had going on. Your birthday and your family coming up, and like navigating all those different situations and having like all your friends here and everything like that. I thought I would be more anxious than I was, and I'm glad that I wasn't, because I didn't want to be anxious, because I wanted to make sure you weren't being anxious and that you were able to have fun and enjoy the beginning of your birthday celebrations. Things went off without a hitch. As there might have been hiccups, we pivoted, and I couldn't feel better about everything that happened. So yeah, I feel like it was a pretty good week for mental health. I would give my mental health a gold star this week for doing the damn thing.
A for effort.
Yes. Are you ready to go into? Would you call this our least? Is it a least favorite part? Or
I don't know. Sometimes I actually like.
I like it. I like venting.
So, here we go. It's time for gripe right here.
Bringing it. What? We gripe it. We're not griping anywhere else. We gripe it. This safe space for us to share. We gripe it. We ain't griping anywhere else. We gripe it.
So what? Start us off, Miss, with what's getting you hot under the collar.
All right.
Well, no, actually, that means aroused. What's upsetting you?
It means aroused.
Hot under the collar, like.
Okay.
Like.
Oof. So, this one story. This is a story that I honestly didn't hear about until a little before we were recording. But a 16-year-old boy in Missouri, named Ralph Yarl, who was going to pick up his younger siblings, twin brothers, accidentally went to the wrong house, rang the doorbell, and was shot twice or multiple times by the owner of said house.
Can't do anything without potentially getting shot.
He was hospitalized on Thursday, and he is said to be in stable but life, critical. He's a stable condition, but has a life-threatening injury. And as of today at 7:16 p.m., we don't have an update on his condition. But the person who shot him was taken into custody on Thursday and placed on a 24-hour hold, but they haven't been given any charges yet.
Oh my God! Why would they show this photo?
It's a very
I don't need to see that.
Sad situation. It says Missouri law allows a person to be held up to 24 hours for a felony investigation, and then at that point, the person must be released or formally arrested. They have not released the person's name or race, but it's just, there's no reason why someone ringing your doorbell should end in a shooting death.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of, you ever see that movie, The Happening?
With the trees?
Yes.
Yes.
And I remember that one scene where, like, the boys ring the doorbell and then they get shot through the door. And it's like, okay, in an apocalyptic scenario where you're confused, you don't know what's happening, you're afraid, but, like, someone just knocking on your door is not a reason to shoot them. And this is just another reason why we need to have stricter gun laws and stricter, harsher punishment for people who use their guns or the reckless abandon. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump is, of course, working on this. I don't want to call him a ambulance chaser, but hopefully he's just trying to get the family some justice. He said you can't just shoot people without having justification when somebody comes knocking on your door. And knocking on your door is not a justification. This guy should be charged. And look at this little beautiful black boy who was just doing his job as an older brother.
He reminds me of my nephew.
Right? He does. Like, it makes me think of my little brother, like, of my own nephew. Like, I can't imagine.
Oh, he was such a cute little
Kevin was such a cute little boy.
Yeah. What happened?
There's just black people in this country can't do anything without facing the fear of death. Yeah. And it just breaks my heart every time.
We can't have Skittles, we can't have iced tea,
you can't have cigarettes. Yeah. You can't be playing video games in your home. Yeah. You can't be doing anything because someone might, whether they're a law enforcement officer or not, you can be killed by an everyday citizen and nothing happened. And it's just like at this point, like the other day, I was looking at this TikTok that was talking about like millennials and their anxiety and all the things that have happened within our lifetime. And it mentioned how Trayvon Martin happened in 2012. And I just remember thinking like how tired I am. I'm so tired of having to protest. I'm tired of having to try and push representatives to do the bare minimum when it comes to creating accountability and justice for the people who are doing wrong. I'm tired of saying, like, hands up, don't shoot, and I can't breathe. Like, I am tired of all of these situations, and it's every day. I just would love to leave this trash bag ass country, but my one big fear I have is that Americans are going to start leaving this country en masse and going to other places. But because we have not figured out the root cause of all our issues with violence, that we're going to be spreading violence in other places. So we will eventually not be able to we won't be able to find a respite from violence, and it's just going to continue happening and continue happening. And it's very frustrating. It's like, what can you do? What else can you do? Like, it's just, I can point in times that I can, like, bookmark my life in black shootings.
Yes.
And thankfully, he's not dead. He's in the hospital, and we are hoping that he is going
to
full recovery with no lingering issues and can sue the pants of this person regardless of whether they're charged or not. But I don't even care the color of this person. All I care about is this young black man, this black baby, who is, instead of preparing for like spring break and what he's going to be doing with his friends and playing Minecraft or whatever, he's in a hospital fighting for his life, and it's just unnecessary. Okay, that's the main thing.
Yes.
Other things that have made me annoyed this week, I just wish, I'm not speaking to any one person in particular, but I just wish that people could look outside of themselves when they're in certain situations, especially if they're supposed to be fun times, enjoyable times, to be able to look outside themselves and to say, is this comment necessary? Do I need to be having this conversation? Is this action going to create a better or worse atmosphere? Because it frustrates me when somebody that I love and care about is frustrated. And when I know that that frustration is not something of their doing or that's something that they caused at all, and everyone is just trying to have a good time, and then I get frustrated because I know that I would like to be like more assertive and aggressive and tell people to straighten up and fly right, but I don't want to cause extra issues and exacerbate the problem, because I know that I can, as some people say, be intense.
Yes.
So I would like to reel back my intensity and make sure that regardless of what I'm feeling in the moment, that I am not causing discomfort to the person who I'm trying to like protect at that time. Yeah. So that frustrates me because then I'm just sitting there like, what do? I don't like this. Now I'm angry, but I'm holding in my anger so that I'm not causing other people to get riled up. And it just frustrates me. I don't like it. And I wish that I always knew in those situations what to do. And I just think that everyone, let's just continue to practice mindfulness in all situations, regardless of what's going on. We should just sometimes we have to think about those around us and how our actions are causing them to feel good or bad, regardless of whether you're sober or not. Because even if I'm not sober, I can still, that to me, first of all, is someone who's not, if I'm drinking, the thing that's top of my mind is not being an asshole. And I want more people to just embrace that and to think about it. And also, I fucking won Uno. I don't care how many tweets that Uno puts out about how they're playing the game, because you want to know why? We play in house rules over here, okay?
I recognize that we should not play Uno as late as we did, because
we gotta play it earlier.
Yeah, we have to.
People were too drunk. They weren't listening. The rules were clearly stated.
Stacks,
and people did not want to listen originally. And then when I won, they just wanted to come for me because they're sick of losing. But I can't help that, okay? Welcome to the winner's circle, baby. This is what happens. But that's it. That's all that's grinding my gears this week. What about you?
I speak for all children of parents. Adult children of parents.
Wait for my mom to come back so she can hear you.
I think she's back.
Yes, okay, you said you speak to all children of parents, so all parents should be listening right now. I am
speaking on behalf of all the children, the adult children, to all the parents out there who need to hear this. Enough with commenting on your children's bodies. Just enough of it. Even if you don't mean it in a bad way, even if it's innocuous, whatever the statement is, like, hey, you're getting swole, or hey, you're getting big, or hey, you
lost weight, any of them.
You lost weight, or you've gained weight, or anything like that. Like,
don't comment.
I think the cutoff time is 21.
No, the cutoff time is like 10 because nobody wants to hear anything about their body.
Well, okay.
Not even nobody wants to hear things about their body.
The reason why I say 21 is because when parents have the right to be like, at the very most, I should say, hey, you're getting bigger. I can't believe you're getting bigger. You were such a small baby.
Yes.
And now you're a full-grown human being.
But, like, okay, my mom said cutoff time is 6. Because this is the thing.
Oh, okay.
When
Cutoff time is 6. All right.
I think that parents don't always... There's a difference between being like, oh, my God, you're so big. Like, when I see Kata, I just was talking to my sister.
He's getting bigger.
He's getting bigger. He's 5 months now. He's so cute and chunky and adorable.
He looks like a little man.
He's a little man. He's a little man.
When he becomes a man, like
this is gonna be his face, just him bigger.
Just his face.
But it's like when Kata is old enough to really understand what his body is and what people's comments are, there's a difference between saying, "Oh my gosh, you got so big. And big as in like you're tall, you're older. Like wow, I can't believe it," versus when you're commenting on your children's weight. Because I remember being a kid, like under 10, and people commenting on my weight, and I did not like it. I felt bad because even at 9 years old, because I was really, really skinny until I was like 7 or 8. And then I started gaining weight. And I remember someone... I'm like 8 or 9 years old. I was with my best friend Charlene, and she was like still really skinny. We had always been the same weight. And I remember her older sister being like, "Oh wow, Odie, your arms are getting big." And like since then, there's no time where I see a picture of myself and think about my arms. And it's like those little things. So nobody should be talking about your body and like talking about it in a way that's like not affirming. Cause saying like, wow, look how big and beautiful you're getting is different than like, wow, you're putting on weight, you're getting a little pudge, your face is getting round or anything like that. Like at the end of the day, there's a difference between you don't see your child for a few months, you come back and they've gained 100 pounds because that, or they've gained or lost 100 pounds, because that could be an actual something medical.
Yes.
But someone gaining 10, 15 pounds, you're a little bigger, you see someone being bigger, you don't think that person knows what their body looks like? Like, you know what your body looks like. And at the end of the day, like, as much I want to eat right. I want to work out and be active. But, like, sometimes our bodies don't do what we want our bodies to do. And we have to know how to love our bodies in all their stages. Because maybe right now our body is going to be a little bit bigger. Maybe in a little bit it'll be a little smaller. But at the end of the day, regardless if it's big or small, you have to love it. Yes. And you have to be able to be appreciative of it and not feel like stressed out because your body is not looking like an unattainable body goal, which is what we see mostly in the media. And not say unattainable as in you couldn't do it, but unattainable as in like someone like Chris Pratt, who was like chubby and chunky for years. Mm-hmm. He has the money to hire a personal trainer, to hire a chef, to have all these different, like, what is it? Ozempic or whatever. Like, when there are people who just have different bodies, and our bodies look differently as we get older, and we don't need people commenting on them when we're still trying to reconcile those changes within ourselves.
Yes.
But I'm sorry, I hijacked your statement.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It eloquently stated more of what I wanted to say than what I wanted to say. I just wanted to put that out there. The parents shouldn't be talking about the bodies of their children just because it's
stressful.
It's a stressful thing. It's a ridiculous fucking thing, and it causes all sorts of anxiety and annoyance.
Yeah.
I would say that in addition to that, read the room. Just parents and also people, just in general. read the room. Take stock of who is in the room before you say and open your mouth and say something, anything, because you never know what might tick somebody off.
Yeah.
And also, maybe certain people should hear this, but like certain people who pride themselves on not being too sensitive, you're a sensitive person. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with being a sensitive person. Just recognize that you're sensitive and recognize that maybe sometimes you could be a little intense when you're drinking. So that is a message for one person in particular who I'm not going to name, but there you go.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yes.
I think we've given people a lot of great tips.
Yes.
That they can use. I think, everyone needs to learn when to shut the hell up.
Yes.
Everyone needs to learn to read the room.
Yes.
And to say, you know what, is this a necessary time to be having this conversation, to bring up this topic? How can I navigate this space better? And I don't think that there's an age range where you should stop thinking that. I think that everybody, parents, yes. Also, I think definitely need to listen to this. Parents and just older people in general. They have to remember that the best thing that you can do is to be open-minded and not about just like progressive things, but like be open-minded to change, and the fact that just because you are of a certain age, that doesn't mean that your opinion is a better opinion than anyone, because sometimes a 10-year-old could tell you something, you'd be like, wow, that blew my mind. You just have to be open to feedback and receiving the feedback.
Yes.
And then you receive it, you take it in, and then you move differently, and feedback is not a negative thing. It's just feedback. What people say to you majority of the time is just feedback. And you don't have to be angry about it or salty or any of those things. You just know that this is how this person is experiencing you in the moment. And you just think to yourself, how do I want to be experienced in this moment? And then you go from there. And your life will be much easier.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So, are we ready to move on to the things that made us happy?
Yes, we are ready
Which
to move on to state green.
I'm the baby merchant, tots are us. I give you all the service and no damn fuss. Give the baby merchant just a week or two. I'll have your baby for you.
All right, what's making you happy this week? Because,
Well,
wait, actually,
you want to go first?
I start this off.
You
Yes.
start.
I want to thank
Come back onto the screen and finish what you were saying.
I was gonna say I wanted to thank Ode for being so selfless in planning my birthday get-together. Birthdays are weird because this year my birthday lands smack dab in the middle of the week. So it's not gonna be until
Wednesday.
And even then, like, it's whatever. It's fine.
We're going to get sushi.
Yes, we're gonna get sushi. But I have 2 birthday shenanigans happening. One this past weekend, one next weekend. I want to thank Ode for organizing both of them, putting out the invites, reaching out to people, giving updates, what have you, all of the above. I appreciate it. She made food. She helped organize the whole shindig, and she opened the doors so that people could just come in instead of having to buzz in and everything like that. That was a good idea. I had a great time at my birthday celebration yesterday. A bunch of my friends came out, hung out. It was great to see, great to spend time with everybody, great to see everyone.
Yes, I made spinach and artichoke dip and shrimp spinach and artichoke dip and wings.
Yes. It was a lovely time held by all. I want to thank my friends and family who showed out, and hung out for game night. I want to thank Ode again for the Black Comic Book Festival that we went to. I want to also thank the Black Comic Book Festival for existing at the Schaumburg. I've never been to the Schaumburg. I didn't know it existed in Harlem. Now I want to say that I want to go
back
to more events.
There's so many fun things.
Yeah.
And there's so many fun things that you would love. It's like a black film just repository.
Yes. It's awesome. It's incredible, and I felt very loved this past weekend. And I felt very appreciated. I enjoyed my birthday celebration. I'm sure I will enjoy my birthday, and I'm sure I will enjoy next weekend. The only caveat that I have, and it's a small one, I recognize that when I get tired, I don't want anything to do with anything. And there are some pictures that are floating around that came from last night that illustrate that point. There are some that are like, hey, like, he's having fun. And then there are pictures that are like, it's late and Mari's
We'll make sure to take pictures earlier.
Yes. Yes. Nobody thought to take pictures at the beginning of the night.
Because people are trickling in, and it was like, oh, we're having fun, we're enjoying, we're drinking. And I just was like, I didn't want to stop you from enjoying the little pieces, the slices of life that were happening. But yes, earlier pictures next time.
Earlier, much earlier.
Okay, is that it?
That was everything that... and just seeing my family and hanging out with my family and seeing my family and friends hanging out with each other. Like, that warmed my heart. And all the nice things that everybody said about me, how I'm not a creep.
You're not?
I'm not a creep, how I'm loyal, how I wear my heart on my sleeve and
You
love everybody and all this other shit. And it made me feel very warm and gave me all the fuzzies.
Good.
So, yes, I appreciate that. And thank you for being a part of that.
Well, thank you for giving me carte blanche over your birthdays the last...
I'm not necessarily saying that every birthday is going to give you carte blanche to just do
I've had it for like 2 years now.
Well, yeah, but at this point...
Well, so your 30th birthday, not your 30th, your 31st birthday, you planned that one. I just...
Yeah,
insisted.
you just...
For the last 2 years, I've been checking on... I've been doing a good job.
Was that my 31st birthday?
Your 31st one was when we went upstate to see you, Rhonda.
Okay, so 31st, 32nd was the last year. That was...
No, you're going to be 34.
No,
32nd was when we did...
what did we do for 32?
God. We did something that... it was an activity. We did an activity...
Okay, so last year we went to Nobu and
Yes.
we did the Smash Room and stuff.
Yes.
I remember that because that's when all the brouhaha kicked off.
And 32, we did something.
What did I do for 32?
And I can't remember what it was, but I remember sending out invites. nights, but we did stuff. It was fun. You enjoyed it. I remember that. You had a great time. It might have just been like maybe a dinner or something. I don't remember.
I'm blanking on it. But that's all that made me happy this week.
I'm glad that made you happy. Well, what made me happy this week is one, getting to see you happy. Because I wanted your birthday to be a joyous time. I was so happy when your dad agreed to come up because I knew you'd been missing him. And so I thought that would be a great birthday bonus. And then his birthday's right before yours. So I knew that would be like a cute little thing for you guys to celebrate together because you haven't really been able to do that in some time. I'm happy that, well, one, we had a great dinner. That was delicious. I'm going to go back there. We're going to have to go back there so we can get some more lasagna.
Yes.
And I'm very happy that I still have lasagna there to eat because it was really good.
Yes.
That, one, everyone came out for your birthday shenanigans yesterday, and we had a great time. And for the most part, people behaved themselves.
Yes.
It was joy, merriment, and love. I loved getting to hear all of the great things everybody was saying about you. And just getting to see you in your element with your people.
In my element.
I loved we went to the 11th annual Black Comic Book Festival at the Schomburg, like you said. It was great. We got to meet so many dope people.
Oh, that one artist who dressed up like basically Ode.
So look, it's me. Look at me, this black unicorn who's dark skinned and super cute and has colorful hair. One.
Big ass anime eyes.
Her name is Shauna Grant, and she has several graphic novels for children out. She has one about Claudette Colvin.
She is. It's a Scholastic book.
Yes, Scholastic. She has one
Scholastic.
with that she illustrated about Rosa Parks and Claudette Colvin, which is very important to me because Rosa Parks, we always talk about her as starting the boycott, Montgomery bus boycott. When in actuality, Claudette Colvin and like two other girls were actually, it happened to them first. But the reason why the NAACP and like Martin Luther King and them didn't choose Claudette to be the face of the movement was because she was a teen mom and respectability politics. And so it's only been in recent years where she's been getting her flowers as the civil rights pioneer that she was.
Yes.
Because I remember writing about her a few years ago, and basically, like, she was 15, 16 on the bus. They had just learned about some other types of protesting happening in the civil rights movement. They told her to move, and she said, nah, I'm not doing that. She was arrested, and there were two other girls who were part of the lawsuit. They brought it against the state. And I do believe she might have won the one, but she just never has she hasn't until recently gotten the accolades she deserved. So that made me very, very happy. I also got this book. It's a short story anthology called Between the Stars by Cersei Rennie Murphy, who said she's going to use my name in a book. So
Odochi.
Look for Odochi out there in a series, and I will be immortalized forever.
What's it called?
Between Two C's. Sorry.
Between Two C's.
I'm looking forward to reading it. I really loved the panel that they had, Speaking for Ourselves, Black Women and Marginalized Voices in Comics. It was hosted by Nerds, Herbs, and Words, which is a podcast I feel like we need to partner with.
Yes.
Because they were both so funny and so cool. It's hosted by Erica Hardison and Keisha Parks. And they interviewed Shauna Grant, Karama Horn, Elizabeth Colomba, and Barbara Brandon Croft, who was one of the first Black people to have a news strip in a mainstream newspaper. So I love that they had a very intergenerational panel. I believe it was Karama Horn who wrote she wrote the new Marvel comic.
Yes, she
book
did.
About the Dora Milaje.
Dora Milaje.
She's working on other works. And what's her name? Rebecca. What's the name of the woman from the Spider-Man? Is it Spider-Verse that she's writing about? Like
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau.
She's Miss Marvel.
Yes, there we go.
Or
from the WandaVision.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to that. They had so many other showcases. It was really dope just seeing Black blurs out here doing the damn thing. I was so emotional the whole time. I was so excited the whole time. And I cannot wait to go back next year. And honestly, y'all should have us moderate a panel next year because we would do it dopely. Okay? If you want two dope Black blurs to be talking to you about comic book stuff.
I will say this. The only thing, my only note, it should be Khan. Sham Khan. Not com, because it's a convention.
Yes.
And I get why
it's
Sean Com, because it's comics.
Yeah.
But it's a convention.
Yeah.
It's a conference.
Well, next year hire us so that we can help you with these sort of things.
It's a small little note, but a note nonetheless. Anything else?
Well, besides just spending time with you and doing this podcast.
Yeah.
That was a modified version of
yes,
our
it
handshake.
was. Yes. We're not doing the entire handshake.
It's too much to do on camera. We have to turn around. It's
too much bullshit. Okay, yeah, that's the signal that we need to get the fuck out of here.
My battery's dying.
Yes.
We love you guys.
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
Yes.
We will probably have a Watch Out Wednesday.
We have to finish Last of Us.
We have to finish
so that
Last
we can
of
talk
Us.
about
I think we should do beef next.
Maybe beef, yeah. Maybe.
But
are we gonna do we'll talk about that.
We'll figure it out. But
right.
Thank you all. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandSnerdyPodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snerdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorish is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's OD THATSOD.E, and on Twitter THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Snerdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.